everybody, welcome back. We are at my top 20 of all time, the board games that I like playing the most at this moment in time, and that is while I'm recording January 9th, 2016. Alright, so let's don't stand here and do nothing. Let's go to my number 20. My number 20 is the smallest game, a two-player game, only 18 cards, but they are very beautiful cards, and I'm talking about Tides of Time. Now in this two-player game, it's a micro game, two players are facing each other and trying to score the most points after 3 rounds of drafting cards and making an empire, which will, well, fall down after a round, and then you build up a new one. Hence the title Tides of Time. Very easy game to learn, to teach, but well, it's kind of hard to master because after each game that you play of this game, you get better at it and you are going to see different things and you are going to watch your opponent, see what he is doing. You're going to draft against him, but you have to see that you score enough points as well. You can score points by having the most cards of a certain suit, by having combinations, by scoring the highest card in a round. You can get bonus points and so on and so on. After each round you will choose one card to keep. You are going to choose one card that is removed from the game, and then you start again with 5 cards that you will draft, and you do that 3 times. After the 3rd round, who has the most points in total is the winner. Really fun game, really nice fast play, but it can get really deep once you are getting to know this game. My number 20, new to this list because it was released this year, Tides of Time. My number 19, also completely new to this list because I think it was released early this year, maybe the year before that, but it was only available here in 2015 here in Belgium, and it is a party game. Well, it got passed by Codenames on Board Game Geek, but it's still in front of Codenames on my list because I like the special interaction in it. Normally I'm not for lying and bluffing and so on, but somehow Spyfall, well, it really pleases me as a game. In this game you have all these different packs of cards in small bags. Each bag is a location and there are all these location cards, and there is always one spy card. So you are going to deal the cards face down to the players. They can see their card and one of the players is a spy. And then the timer starts and people are going to ask each other questions. Now, of course, the spy wants to hide that he is the spy, and he needs to guess where he is. So after a few rounds of questions, he might stop the game and say, well, I'm the spy and I think we're at the high school, for example. The other players are, of course, trying to find out who the spy is by asking questions, and when the spy answers very weirdly on the location, then they might stop the game and ask for a vote. If everyone votes for the same person, everyone agrees with the vote he wants to do, then the player is chosen as the spy. If they are right, the players win. If they are wrong, the spy wins. Very fun game, plays really fast. You can get in and out of the game very easy. If you are at a party or somewhere where people are coming and going, they can easily join. It plays up to 8 players. Well, there are a lot of locations already, but somehow I hope there will be more in the future. Really great game, I think. I'm not sure. It is my number 1 party game on this list, I believe it is, and it is called Spyfall. My number 19. My number 18 was number 12 last year. It dropped 6 places, but that doesn't mean that I don't like it anymore. On the contrary, I love this game, I still love this game, and I think this game is completely underrated. I think you will not find it in much top 50s at all. Many people call this Bingo Advanced, and yes, they are right, it is Bingo Advanced, but the name Bingo Advanced does not honor the game as much as it should. I'm talking, of course, about Augustus, or Rise of Augustus. In some versions it is called Rise of Augustus. Now, in this game, each player will have these cards, and they are represent provinces or senators in front of them, and they all need certain combination of symbols that you have to put your legionnaires on, these meeples in the game. And that is done in a bingo kind of way. So there is one player who has the bag of tokens. They will draw one token at a time. As soon as someone has all their symbols covered by legionnaires, they call Ave Caesar, and well, they score that card. Now, there are some bonus tiles in the game as well. As soon as you are the one that was the first to have 3 provinces of the same color, you get a bonus tile for that color, which gives you bonus points at the end of the game. The cards you score might give you special abilities, maybe for once, maybe for the rest of the game, or some might have just higher or lower points at the end of the game. And you play until one player has 7 cards scored, and then you add up your points. It is really fun. It's an easy game. It is a gateway game which uses, of course, a well-known principle of playing bingo. But it has theme, it has nice artwork, and it is really fun to do, easy to learn, and it is very well deserved. My number 18 on my list, Augustus. Number 17 is a little bit more heavy than Augustus. It is a game that has been released this year, so it's completely new to the list. And in this game you are trying to buy the right people and put the tokens of those people into a bag, which you will draw them from in the next round. It is a bag building game, you can call it like that. It's called Orléans. Well, Orléans is, well, it's highly regarded, many people like it, and not without any reason, because this game is really fun. So each round people will draw from their bag and will have a certain number and combination of workers. You will have builders, you will have priests, you can have monks, you can have boatmen, whatever, and you can use them on your own board. Which you have in front of you, and certain combinations give you certain actions you can do. Some actions are just to get other people in your bag that you can use later. Some actions let you build buildings on the board or make you move, so you can get resources, you can get bonus points for buildings on the map, you can get bonus points for so many things. It could have been a Feld game, a Stefan Feld game, because there are many ways to score points, but the most of the points are scored at the end of the game. And this is really fun to do. So it is a really great game. There is a new expansion that has been released this year. Let's show it. It is called Orléans Invasion. This expansion has these several modules, including solo game, including a two-player competitive game, and a two-player, or no, not two-player, but a cooperative game as well. Really interesting expansion, but with the base game you are already having a great game in your possession. Really good one. I recommend it to everybody who has a little bit experience with playing board games. It's not the easiest one to learn, to teach, to get into, but once you do, it is completely awesome. Orléans, my number 17 for this year. Another game that has dropped out of the top 10 is my number 16. It dropped 8 places, so it was number 8 last year, and we already saw its little brother or its faster brother with the dice earlier in the list. And of course I'm talking about Matt Leacock's Pandemic, or as we call it, Pandemie. We are teaching you Dutch while we are going with this list. Now, in pandemic, of course, people are playing together and trying to eradicate or cure these 4 diseases on a world map. And you do this by, well, set collection actually, by moving around, gaining cards of different colors, the colors of the diseases, and by exchanging cards, by getting the hotspots under control, because there are, of course, places that get worse and worse, and you have to stop it before there are too many outbreaks and before the world comes to an end as we know it. So Pandemic is a really exciting game. It's a classic. In the meanwhile, it has been here for a few years and it's still an awesome game. Of course, I know what you're thinking. This year there was another game that, well, that is Pandemic with something extra. Is it on this list? Maybe, maybe not. You have to see, well, if it is. I'm not going to spoil it. But anyhow, this game, this basic Pandemic game, is still a great game, and it is my number 16, Pandemic. Number 15 is a game that was number 41 last year, but somehow I still enjoyed that much that it has raised 26 places all the way to number 15. It is a game that goes up to 6 players, if I'm not mistaken. It is completely chaotic, the game, but the theme is fun. The game looks really fun as well. It has this 3D model train on the board, and of course, then I spoil it already, I'm talking about Cold Express. Now, each player is this bandit who wants to be the richest bandit, and they are going to rob the train. How do they do that? Well, they jump on the train and they are trying to pick up loot, they are trying to shoot the other players, hit them so they drop their loot, and this all by playing cards that they have in their hand, playing them face up or face down depending on where they are on the track. There are places where there are tunnels. If you're in a tunnel, you put it face down so nobody knows what you're up to. Really fun, really fun. So you all play these cards, and after everyone has played a couple of cards, they are going to be revealed one by one, and you are going to see what is actually happening. Really fun things that happening. You're shooting to nobody, you are hitting against air, you are dropping loot, picking up loot, and so on and so on. There's also a new expansion, I have it somewhere here, with horses and a stagecoach. Haven't played that yet, so I cannot say how good that is, but only the base game is just plain beautiful, plain fun. Really fun. My number 15, it really deserves to be this high because it is really fun. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it won the Spiel des Jahres this year. And it deserved to have won this. Cold Express, my number 15. Okay, number 14 dropped 5 places, so it was a top 10 last year. Number 9, and maybe if you paid attention or if you have a very good memory, there was already a game that dropped from space number 9 because I cheated last year and I put them together on the same place because I couldn't choose which one I liked more because they also are a little bit familiar. Now, after some thinking, after some playing, I believe this game is a little bit better than Dixit because it adds a little bit more, and I'm talking about Tajemnicze Domostwo, or as it is called since this year, Mysterium. Mysterium, there has been released a new version of this, with other artwork maybe. The box cover is different, there are a few different rules, of which not everyone is completely happy with. There are some interesting new things, but there are some things they prefer from the old version, and that's the version I have and that I really like. Now, in this game, which is actually a combination between Dixit and Clue, people are trying to collectively see who was the killer, where the murder happened, and who and with what weapon, of course. And how are they going to? Well, one player is a ghost, and this ghost tries to communicate in the dreams of the players. And how does he do that? By playing these cards, which really remind players of Dixit. They're all special cards, really nice artwork, but a little bit weird artwork. and the ghost is going to give a player one or more cards that has something to do with the person or the location or the weapon he has to deal with. And well, they have 7 days to guess the 3 steps, and after that they have to guess the right combination, because there will be 3 different combinations at the end of the game. Really not easy to win this game. I only won it a few times and lost it many more times, because it is really hard, but really fun. Especially playing the ghost is hard. It's not for everyone playing the ghost. I really like it. I really love trying to find the right cards for the players. And I really like playing the ghost more than being a player, but being the player is also very fun as well. And well, this game is just plain awesome. Tajemnicze domostwo. I finally learned how to pronounce it since last year. It's my number 14. Yes, my number 14. Just try it, it is really nice. Number 13, also a very small game, also new to this list. I had been looking for this so long in Belgium. I still haven't found it here. It is impossible to get. Well, it's not impossible. I could find it, buy it through Amazon, the French or the German Amazon, but then I will pay so much money for shipping. It is a little bit crazy. But a friend of mine who I got to know in Greece while on vacation, this guy from America, Alvin, he was so kind to bring it to me while we were on vacation at Greece again, and I'm talking about Red 7. This is a 2 to 4 player game, a card game, best with 4 players, in which you are playing, have 7 cards in your hand at the beginning of the game. There are 7 cards of each color. There are 7 different colors with 7 different abilities. Really interesting. So there will be a rule in the middle of the table, and that might be that the strongest card wins, so the highest card wins. Now, you just have to make sure by playing a card in your tableau or by changing the rule, which can be the most cards of a certain color, the most cards of lower than 4, the most cards in consecutive order. You have to make sure that at the end of your turn you are winning the rule that is in the middle of the table. That's all you have to do. So play goes around and around until people are dropping off because they cannot win the game anymore at the end of their turn. Really simple, but it can be really tinky because you really want to do the right combination. Make sure that if the game goes around again, that you have this opportunity to get to the lead again, to be winning again, and to stay in the game. Really fun game. I'm so happy that I have this. People I've played it with all like this one. They all want to get it for themselves, but they can't. It's not here. I might have one of the few copies here in Belgium, and I'm really happy I do. I really like this game, and I hope some Dutch or Belgian publisher will gain the rights to this to bring it out here, or if Asmadi Games will bring it over to Belgium and Europe, because people want to have this in their collection. They need this because it is really good. Red 7, my number 13. Okay, so, well, there are many games dropping out of the top 10 in this part of the list, and this game isn't any different. It was number 7 last year, and now it's my number 12. It is a cooperative game with a great team. I really like the team. I think it's one of the best teams in a cooperative game there is. And in this game you are all playing firefighters trying to put out fires in a house or in some other building, because there are many expansions already with an airport, with a submarine, a big container ship, a garage, whatever. You can do this all in Flashpoint Fire Rescue. Now this game, as I already said, each player is a fireman and you are trying to put out fires, but the most important thing is you are trying to get these victims out of the building. There are always 3 possible victims in the house. You are only sure when you get to them if it's not a false alarm, because some of these victim tiles are empty, so it is you heard something but there wasn't anything there. You have to get enough people out before 3 people are dead, of course, or before the building collapses, because the walls can get damaged, and if there are too many walls damaged, the whole integrity of the building is gone and it will collapse and you will lose the game. After each player's turn, you are going to roll dice to see where there is smoke or fire or explosions. All these things happen in Flashpoint Fire Rescue. It is a really fun, tense, but easy to teach game. It is actually a gateway game, honestly, it really is, and it's a really good one. My number 12 awesome game, Flashpoint Fire Rescue. Number 11. Well, it's a special one because, and this is the first real surprise, it was my number 2 last year. Yes, number 2. It dropped 9 spots, dropped out of the top 10. It's number 11. It is a Euro game of Stefan Feld, still one of my favorite designers, but somehow this game doesn't get played that much anymore. Maybe it takes a little bit too long. I'm more into the shorter games lately, or the more thematic games, but still this game is awesome, really good. I really love it for a 2-player game. A 4-player game can be a little bit too long, but 2 or 3 players is awesome. And I'm talking about the Burgen van Burgund, or Bridges of Burgundy, or whatever it is in English. And in this game you have your tableau in front of you and you're trying to get the right tiles on the right places, scoring you points, giving you certain abilities, and you are doing this by rolling dice. So you roll your dice, and with those dice results you can get the tiles from a central board, or you can do something else if you want. Really fun. I really love dice placement games. This has a few dice, not that many, but it's still the main mechanic. You have to roll dice, and those dice, which you can mitigate with certain tiles, you can pay workers to change the die results. So there is mitigation of the dice. It's a little bit luck based, but not too much. And well, I really like this game. It is really good. It plays not too fast. I think it takes about 90 minutes if you play a 2-player game. Maybe some people will say an hour, but that's stretching it. That's a little bit fast. It might be. But it is an awesome game. I really love this. It is one that I probably will never leave my collection. It hurts a little bit to see this on place 11 only. But there are a few games that are just, at this moment, games that I that I prefer more to play at this time. So, but still, great game. I really love this game. Burgen van Burgund, my number 11. Okay, folks, that's number 11, and we're getting really close to the top 10 now. As you can see, there are a few games that dropped out of the top 10, so that means there are a few, well, quite a lot of new titles in the top 10. I'm not sure if you can already imagine which ones there are. I was surprised. I'm still surprised by a few titles, especially number 11. It was a really big surprise. Well, other games managed to get it out of my top 10. So, I hope you like this part of the list. Feel free to comment below what you think of these 10 games I just mentioned. And maybe you can already try to speculate which my number 1, my 2 and number 3 is. We'll see. I'm not going to answer that, of course, in the comments. You will have to wait and see in my next video where I show you my favorite 10 board games at this moment in time. Thank you all for watching. Please visit me on Twitter. I'm at Vitruvian Gamer. I'd love to see you all there. And for now, I thank you again for watching, and I see you all in the future for my top 10. Bye bye.